Hi guys, and welcome to Andy Robinson RC. Cheers for checking out the channel. And on today's episode, we will be having a quick look at a comparison between the Super Storm Dragon 2020, and the Grasshopper. Now, the reason I'm doing this particular episode is because at my local RC club, which is Blackpool and the Fylde Radio Controlled Car Club, the club has just started a new beam axle class. So that goes for any of the buggies with a solid live axle at the back of the vehicle. So you've got obviously your Tamiya Hornets, the Super Dragon will be included in that, the Grasshopper, you've got the Midnight Pumpkin and the Lunchbox, and then you've got the Tamiya Rising Fighter. And what else have you got on there? You've got the Tamiya DTO1, which is the Fighter Buggy RX, or the Rookie Rabbit, or the Mad Bull, or Mad Fighter. So I think that's most of them. But basically, any of the buggies, 1/10 buggies, with a live beam axle rear motor configuration will be eligible for the class. So I'm going to just explain the rules in a bit more depth, and then we'll have a look at the Super Dragon and the Grasshopper. So, okay, the idea is that the vehicle must be built to kit stock specs. So it's got to be built from how it says in the instruction manual, with the addition that you can use bearings instead of the plastic bushes. Other than that, the vehicle must be standard, so it must use the tyres that came within the kit. No hop-ups allowed other than the bearings, but you can put whatever, your choice of radio gear in the vehicle. Other than that, it must be completely stock. So, we'll have a bit of a look at the Super Dragon and the Grasshopper, because I think most people will be probably using that type of variant, or, the Hornet. And, oh, before I forget, you can use the Grasshopper 2 and the Super Hornet in the class as well. Anyway, we'll have a bit more of a look at the Super Dragon and the Grasshopper, maybe weigh up the pros and cons. So I'll just get the Grasshopper down. Okay. Bring that back out. Okay. Right. So, as most of you will be aware, that these buggies are very similar, although there is a few minor differences. So we'll take the lid off the Super Dragon, and if you just look there at the chassis, it is pretty much a Hornet. In fact, it's exactly like a Tamiya Hornet, because it is one. Okay, now the differences between this and the Grasshopper is, let's have a look. If you can see on the front suspension, you've got an extra it's like a little spacer there that goes on the Hornet shocks. Now what you can do is you can put an O-ring in there, and with the Hornet and the Super Dragon kit you get two choices of spacers. One's a bit deeper and one's a bit shallower. Now on the deeper one you can fit two O-rings in, and on the shallow spacer you can fit one O-ring, and that can affect the softness or the stiffness of the damper. So the two O-rings in the deeper spacer makes the front suspension harder, and the small spacer there, that makes it softer, and I opted for softer. Okay, now if you notice on the Grasshopper it is literally the same, but it just has the spring. There's no little spacer there on the Grasshopper kit. Okay, but other than that, it's got the same front end, tyres and wheels are the same. Okay, but if we look at the back, it is slightly different again. So on the rear of the Hornet, we've got oil-filled shocks on the rear, and again slightly different mounting hole at the back because it's attached to also the rear body posts. And instead of the shocks on the Grasshopper directly bolting to the gearbox housing case, they are on like a little a ring and a spacer on the axle on the Hornet. So slightly different. So the shocks in a slightly different position, and they've got oil-filled rear shocks where the Grasshopper does not. And also, you can see if we can see it as well. It also, the suspension pivots here on the Hornet and Super Dragon chassis, but it is completely fixed here on the Grasshopper, totally fixed, so it doesn't move up and down in the front or side to side in the same way that the Hornet does. Okay, now also as well, what I did notice as well, between the two vehicles there is approximately, bar a couple of grams, 50 grams difference in weight between the Hornet Super Dragon and the Grasshopper. Okay, now I was doing a bit of messing around, and see here, the two tyres, there is, for both of them, a set of rear wheels and tyres, there is 16 grams of weight difference between the Grasshopper rears and the Hornet rears. The Grasshopper ones are heavier than the Hornet ones by 16 grams. And then, also, the other big differences between the two is the body shell. So that is a Lexan or polycarbonate body shell, so no weight to it at all. And then you've got the ABS plastic hard body of the Grasshopper, which screws down onto the chassis. And I think there's about 25 grams difference between the body shells. So there is a bit more weight in the Grasshopper. Okay. So whether that'll be an advantage or disadvantage on the track, we shall see at the club. Now also, if you have a Grasshopper, it does come with the 380 kit motor, whereas the Hornets and Super Dragons come with a 540 motor, and so do things like the Pumpkin and Lunchbox, the Rising Fighter, and other ones like that. The Hornet is the only one that comes with a 380. Now, the rules are, it's entirely your own preference. You can either use the 380 motor that comes with the Grasshopper, or you are allowed to switch it up to the 540. Both mine run 540s in them, but it's down to the driver's discretion really. You can use the 380 or you can use the 540. It's up to you. But as I say, apart from that, in the kit, the car must be stock built with the exception of bearings, and that's it. And you might find that each chassis has their own slight advantage. Like if you use a Pumpkin, it might be slightly quicker because it's got bigger wheels and tyres than it has over the Hornet and Grasshopper, but it's probably got a slightly weightier body shell, so it'll be nice and interesting to see. And again, so you've got the DTO ones, which is the Mad Bulls and Rising Fighter, not Rising Fighter, Fighter Buggy RXs and Mad Fighters. Similar buggy, but slightly different gearbox and slightly different design. It probably will, in fact, handle slightly better around the track than what a Grasshopper would or a Hornet. But we'll see, that's the interesting part. So, yes, so here you go. So that is the idea for Blackpool and the Fylde Radio Control Car Club. I know there are some other clubs that do it as well. But, yes, the idea is we have a cheap, fun class of racing, keeps the cost down, and everyone is pretty much limited to the same thing. So I'll run it over just again. You can use any beam axle buggy made So that's Tamiya Lunchbox, Tamiya Midnight Pumpkin, Tamiya Super Dragon, Tamiya Hornet, Super Hornet, Grasshopper, Super Grasshopper, Rising Fighter, Fighter Buggy RX, Mad Bull, and the Mad Fighter. There may be a couple more, so if you've got any clones like the Rockbuster or the Cyclone, things like that, again, you'll be able to use them in that class. But if you're unsure, you can always message me and get in touch. So other than that, that is it. So I hope that clears things up, and I hope people enjoy the class of racing. It's nice and simple, and it should be nice, close racing and good fun. Right, I'm going to leave it there for now, guys, and cheers for checking out this video. If you'd like to see any more videos with RC content in the future or our past ones, please consider giving us a subscribe, click the notification bell, and click the like button. And again, as always, it is much appreciated. Okay, we'll see you soon. Hopefully we'll see you at the track as well. Take care and see you later, guys.